My name is Brad, and I am 44 years old, and I am a 5-year cancer survivor. You know, life is made up of seasons. We've all learned that, and there's good seasons and bad seasons, and we happen to be in the middle of a really good one. We were getting some debt paid off. We were seeing some of those life dreams come true as far as owning a home, and the Lord had blessed us with another baby on the way, baby number 4, which was not easy for us, and so we were just excited. It was a great season of life. I went in for a routine physical that I had to have for my job.
It was a last minute thing, like, oh yeah, I have that colonoscopy this week. Are you going with me? And oh yeah, I guess probably someone does need to drive you because you will have been medicated. So, okay, let's find a place for the kids and I'll go. So we went to the routine colonoscopy and had the rest of my day planned what I was gonna do after we were done. And so they wheeled Brad back. Dr. White popped his head in and just said, you know, he's not awake yet, I'll be back in a minute. And so I kind of thought that was interesting that he didn't just really talk to me. And then he came back and with pictures and showed me that they'd found something. I'm thinking polyps or, you know, I don't know. And I didn't really know what I was looking at until then Brad got more awake and he came in again and explained that he didn't know for certain that it was cancer, but he was pretty certain.
Within a matter of moments, everything went from really, really good to what just happened to us. That's truly how it happened. And
it was just a crazy week. This seems comical, but like a few days before, we'd had to put Kana's dog down, and you know that seemed heavy. And then Brad was diagnosed, and that was huge. And then I started having, you know, losing the baby. And then that weekend, my sister got married, and so all within 1 week, we had to handle all those, remember, and we flew out to the wedding knowing that A, we have cancer, B, we're miscarrying a baby, and C, we have to have smiles on our faces and go to this wedding and rejoice and celebrate. And it was just a lot to handle all in 1 week. And finally we just said, God, we can't. I can't do this.
The day that I found out I had cancer, I was laying there in the hospital trying to process what the doctors had just told me, and my pastor walked through the door. I don't even know how he found out. I don't know if Sarah called him or who let him know, but he was there within the hour. He was there, and he walked in the door with his son, who is one of my best friends, and they just walked up beside my bed and they took a hold of my hand. And I remember my pastor, the first thing out of his mouth was, he said, Brad, God never wastes our sorrow. And I just sat there and I thought about that, and I just felt impressed right then. What the Lord was telling me is, Brad, this is not about cancer. This is not about whether you live or die. This is about, can you trust me with every last detail of your life?
When we are at the end of ourselves and we have no more strength and we have no more of what we think we need to have, he then shows himself mighty.
I can say as many people as have prayed for me and prayed that I would get well, and I have never one time prayed for God to heal me from cancer. Not one time. And it's not like I'm trying to prove something. It's just I know that for me, this is not about being healed from cancer. This is about God asking me, Brad, do you trust me with your life? Do you trust me? Even if I take your life, do you trust me? If I restore your health and give you another 20 years, do you trust me? That has been my prayer through this whole thing, is God, whether in life or in death, I want to trust you every day.
Brad had surgery. God gratefully and gracefully and graciously allowed him not to have a colostomy. That was a big fear. Many surgeons said, I'm not sure how he got away from that without having a colostomy, but God was gracious. He had some real sick times, lots of fevers, infections.
There were specific nights where I laid down and went to bed when I was in the trenches of cancer, and I didn't know if I was going to wake up in the morning. I really didn't. I was really in a bad place, and my body was full of infection, and I was fighting these fevers, and I didn't know. And there were nights that Sarah and the kids would come back, and they would say goodnight, and we would pray, and I would hold their hands, and they'd walk out the door, and I'd lay there, and I'd think, I should be an absolute wreck right now. and I wasn't. And I don't know how to explain that. I can't make that happen. That is Jesus. That is all those promises that are in God's word are real. And they don't get a chance to demonstrate how real they are until you're in that moment. And you say, I should be freaking out right now, but I'm laying here and I'm okay. I'm not good. I'm not loving this. I'm not saying I love having cancer, but I'm laying here going, God, you've got me. I can trust you, and I'm going to fall asleep right now because I know you have me.
For us, our story has been different than many, but God graciously has, for whatever reason, allowed us to have positive test results ever since. And every time he tests or gets blood drawn or whatever, they've been good.
We don't know how our story will end. I often in my heart feel like I may not be done with cancer. I feel I'm healthy today, but there's times I wonder if there's not another round coming. And if it comes, I know it'll be because God has a plan, and he is saying, all right, here's the next chapter in your story. So early on in my cancer journey, I felt a lot of pressure, as if the grand prize was if you live or die. That was the measuring stick as to whether you beat cancer. If it took your life, then it beat you, and if you lived, then you beat it. That was what I thought, because I didn't have any prior experience with cancer. But what I have adopted now as my theme is beating cancer is about how I live during the days that I have. And so I get up every day with a mindset that says I'm going to beat cancer today. I don't know if I'm going to live or die. I don't know whether I have 5 more months to live or 5 more years to live. That's out of my hands. And that's kind of what's been so cool about this is God has helped me to find a place of rest there. I don't worry about it. I really don't. God has given me grace to live in the moment and live in the day and say, I'm going to beat cancer for the next hour, and I'm going to beat cancer for the next week. And that's been exciting to me, and that's been fun. That's been a really cool part of my growth.